if applicable, matches the date of completed IEM. Should be the actual serial number listed on the equipment. If no serial number is available, a unique identifier or positional reference ID, PRID, may be used by the work center. To review equipment associations. From the Work Center view, select Review. Then select each MIP to verify each maintenance item's ship's RIN and CDM RIN. A RIN is a record identification number used by both sked and OMS to identify a piece of equipment. CDM RINs are created by a configuration data manager, and the ship's RIN is assigned to a piece of equipment by the ship's OMS NG system. Associating equipment and sked to their CDM RINs or ship RINs enables both sked and OMS to communicate maintenance or parts-related information about a piece of equipment in the future. Select each MIP and review the CDM RIN column and ensure this column is not blank and that the data entered is correct. If blank or incorrect, this information can be updated by selecting Work Center from the sked menu. Then select Edit Equipment Details from the drop-down menu. Select the MIP to be updated. Then select the maintenance item. To edit the CDM RIN or the ship's RIN, select the box to the far right with the 3 small dots. This will open the equipment search window to enable you to search for CDM RIN data and sked. It should be noted that sked does not communicate directly with OMS due to current server restrictions with NIOPS. The CDM RIN and ship's RIN information available in sked is from the latest force revision. Therefore, if CDM RIN information is not found in sked, a second search should be conducted in OMS. If the equipment information is not found after both searches in sked and OMS, coordinate with your 3M coordinator to create a new configuration item in OMS to be approved and populated by the configuration data manager. Use the drop-down menus or enter text into Search Text Edit box to narrow your search. You can enter as much or as little criteria as you like. Click Go to perform the search. The CDM RIN and ship's RIN data can be entered directly by double-clicking the CDM RIN or ship's RIN box and editing it with the new information. From the dashboard view, select the date range to be reviewed. Select the division to be reviewed. Then select the number shown in the sort column. This will show the situational accomplishment details window. This window provides a list of completed situational checks that were scheduled or completed by the division. It should be noted that the category, User Scheduled, indicates checks were scheduled manually by using the plus sign in sked device using triggers or states as dictated by the 3M instruction. Try to have this number be 0. Situational checks and events will be cross-verified with the ship's event calendar, maintenance logs, and record books as applicable. Dates of events or dates of event logs must match the date shown in sked. Check note entries in sked can be updated to justify date discrepancies. To conduct a detailed review of all situational checks. From the Work Center view, select Situational. This should bring you to the report page. This section is broken up into 4 categories: Global State, Global Trigger, Local State, Local Trigger. We will discuss and define all 4 categories for greater understanding. First, state versus triggers. A state is a condition, while a trigger is an event. Examples of a state or condition would be, while at sea, while in port, or while in use. Examples of triggers or events are, getting underway, flight quarters, or an underway replenishment. Global versus local. Global states or events are triggered by the 3MC. These are for events or conditions that affect multiple work centers. Local states or events and are triggered by the work center, as these only affect a given work center. During the review, the focus should be on the local states and local triggers. The work center supervisor need to be intimately familiar with the work center's local triggers and local states. In this example, we will examine CAO1's local triggers. The triggers are grouped by a general description of the events that require the maintenance requirements. This normally is elaborated in the scheduling notes. By clicking on each grouping, it provides a listing of the situational checks matching that scheduling note. The scope of the check or maintenance description. When the check should be scheduled. MIP and MRC information. All work center supervisors, LCPOs, and division officers need to thoroughly review these maintenance requirements to ensure situational checks are being scheduled and accomplished on time and that checks are not being omitted. Next, review the local states. In this example, there are 2 conditions and a total of 3 checks. In use, 2. While de-energized, 1. R30W and R8W. Which states while in use conduct weekly. 36M1R which states, while de-energized for 90 days accomplish every quarter. Once complete, review all global triggers. The most common being getting underway. Next, review global state. While at sea and while in port checks. Once you are familiar with all checks that are to be scheduled for the work center, return to the situational accomplishment details view for the division and verify all scheduled and completed checks. Ensure the dates accomplished match the ship's events schedule or any applicable maintenance log. Metered checks. Similar to conducting an oil change after every 3,000 miles for your vehicle. Some work centers have equipment that require checks to be accomplished after certain hours of operation. From the work center view, select Situational. Then select Metered. This will list all equipment that have meter readings. To gain a greater understanding of what each icon means, hit the F12 key on your keyboard to bring up to the icon legend. A blue meter icon indicates an MRC is due to be scheduled for a meter. A red meter icon indicates an MRC is past due to be scheduled for a meter. The scheduling note column indicates the range for the metered checks. To gain a greater understanding, compare the last accomplished with the current value. Then, current value with current range. The current value dictates whether a check is scheduled or not. If the current value falls below the lowest number in the current range column, no meter icon will be displayed. If the current value falls between the given range or is equal to the value in the current range column, the blue meter icon will be displayed. If the current value exceeds the highest number in the given range, the blue meter icon will become red indicating out of range. We will demonstrate this using the R51 check in the example. The scheduling note indicates accomplish after every 25 starts. It was last accomplished at 1,598 starts. The current value is 1,598, which is less than the current range value of 1,623. So the check is not scheduled. If we updated our current value by selecting the Update Meter option and entered a higher value than the current range, for example 1,625, we would see the red meter icon show up on the left. As the current value 1,625 is greater than the current range 1,623. If we entered 1,622, we would notice that this does not trigger a check as it is below the value listed in the current range column. However, if we increased this value to 1,623, we would see the blue meter icon, indicating checks to be scheduled. Again, you can verify your icons by the F12 key on your keyboard to view the icon legend. From the Work Center view, select Schedule. Select the quarter to be reviewed. Hit the F12 key on your keyboard to see the icon legend. We will be reviewing checks marked as complete, lost, not applicable, or completed by a higher authority. All checks marked accomplished with the red tag icon indicate the need for a tagout. It is mandated that these checks have a check note indicating no tags required or the actual tag number or numbers used. In this example we see the tag and the POIC listed. Checks requiring 2 or more people require a check note stating who is the POIC of the check. The POIC should be the most senior person or the most knowledgeable person conducting the check. Send sign checks should be signed for by the outside activity conducting the check or by the SMO. To review the accuracy of all check notes, select the Admin view by selecting Admin on the bottom right. Next select Admin again, but this time from the sked menu. From the drop-down menu select